Welcome to the Schmitter's 100 Acre Woods, out here on a cool October morning. Took the day off and just trying to get caught up on stuff. Always have a lot of wood to attend to, so that's pretty much what I'm working on today. We have the ongoing chicken coop project. We're getting pretty close to having everything done for that. I think the last thing that we're working on now is the siding. Um, and he has a loft area that were built into the trusses that he bought. And he needs some 2x6s or 2x8s to put the floor in for that. So we also have several of those to do as well. They need to be 16 and 8 foot. I think it's a 24 by 12 foot spot. So we can kind of go through, figure out how many we need, and get those cut as well. Right now we don't have any poplar here. This weekend we're going to go cut a couple of trees down that the tops were ripped out in the storm. So basically just getting those down before they die and aren't useful. So getting those cut this weekend so we can start working on the siding and then that flooring for the loft area next week. So, but today, with all that poplar project going on, we have all of the wood over here. So I have other firewood rounds, but then also just have all of the slab wood that is just kind of piling up. I already did a little bit yesterday. I didn't get on film, but have some of that I got started, and basically kind of swing around here. At first, whenever we were just kind of doing it little bits at a time, I was able to keep up with it, and now it's just gotten to the point where once we get stuff off the mill, it's just coming over here and dumping the slabs, just because I haven't been able to keep up with keeping all of this at bay. So that's one thing I hope to accomplish today. Basically, the method that I'm kind of getting to, just because I have so much of it and I can't split as quickly as I can get this stuff broken down, and I just have such a mess going here, that I have some more totes like I've been using that are cut up and ready to be stacked in back there where I store the other firewood. And basically I'm just they're unnumbered, so all of my totes I put numbers on so that I know I can record that, number 22 is split on 10/11, and then that way whenever I need to go back and get totes to stuff firewood bags, or just if we're going to burn it or sell it by the rick, I know which ones um, which ones have been properly aged, essentially. So anyway, I have some unnumbered ones still that are back there that I just haven't gotten to yet. So basically I'm going to start grabbing those. I have half a dozen of those maybe back there. I'm going to start grabbing those, bringing them back, and just getting this stuff cut down, putting it into a tote, and then storing it back there, so it can kind of start the preliminarily dry. And then I'll have 2 to 3 of these up here at any given time, so whenever I have a chance to start splitting, I can get it split down. So today I'm hoping to get that one finished off. I started it yesterday, and then get through that tote, and then that will allow me to have these 2 totes open and work on getting more of this broken down. So hoping to get all of this or most of this broken down, those 2 split. A lot of it's this flat, smaller stuff, and it typically splits a little bit quicker into the tote here. So kind of working on getting that. The other wood here, I had a video a couple weeks, maybe a month ago, where I went through and I broke all this down. So this is just stuff that we didn't think would go through the sawmill well, has lots of knots, stuff like that. And then other stuff is just other wood that we had that I went ahead and broke down. I need to get it split and put into a tote as well. Our shed up here is full, so I just need to get it broken down and let it start drying. But right now, my priority is really that, try to get it cleaned up. So that'll be kind of the two main things I focus on, is getting this cleaned up um, so that as we cut more poplar for the chicken coop, have um, have some place to put it and don't just keep adding on top of this mess here. Split and get into this tote here. I'll probably just do a time lapse of getting this stuff here slabbed off into smaller pieces, get this tote taken out back, and be the first one I get done for October. So just trying to keep ahead on, staying with the firewood so it can age for a few months, preferably about 6, but with how small this is broken down and how it sits like this for a little bit, it dries pretty quick, and it's already pretty dry here. Alright, have tote number 22 here filled up. Gonna go ahead and get it sent out back, put its lid back on, and take it out back. Time's now about kind of documenting, and I don't do anything super fancy. I just have a Google Keeps note that basically I keep just a running tally here, and then once I use a tote, so like number 25 I used this last go round, so I can go ahead and delete it off of the list here just so that I don't get confused. But go ahead and delete tote 25. But basically I just keep a running thing then. So here I have tote 22. I just put whatever day I finished splitting it. So today is the 11th. So I just put that, and then I put what it is. So whenever I have numerous things I'm doing, like if I'm splitting this stuff up and putting it in there, so whenever I get around to that, and I use tote 11 to do that, I'll put kind of what it is, so that way when in the future, whenever I'm going back to try to find certain types of firewood, I know. So like this, I just do small sawmill, and I know that it's stuff that came off the sawmill, and I did it as small bag firewood size. So you can see, and I've talked about this before, that this stuff is really small. I split it up pretty small intentionally, so that whenever I stuff a bag, you get about 20 pieces, give or take. It's a volume of size, but they're 0.75 cubic feet, I think, is kind of the bags that I've been buying. And you get about 20 pieces in there whenever it's this size, give or take, obviously depending on the size, but that's a pretty good average for this size firewood. Go ahead, get this out of here, get the lid on it, and take it out back. And then I have just a few pieces left in here, so I'll go ahead and queue up another tote. I'll probably just grab 20, 25, one of the ones over there, queue that up, put it in the spot here so that it's ready to go, and I can finish this up, and then I'll move that tote right there, right here, and start splitting out of that one. Hopefully get another tote filled up, But kind of in between those two, I'll go ahead and start working on getting um, getting more of this split up into that tote there. Alright, so gonna start working on getting some of these slabs put on, getting them cut up into the 16-inch pieces. I'll talk through that a little bit more as I do it, kind of the method of putting it on there, what I found works best, and kind of changed it from how I was originally doing it. Seems to go a little bit faster. The most time consuming part is honestly picking up all the pieces and putting it in the bin afterwards, but it's the most effective way of kind of keeping them organized while while it kind of waits to then be split. So as you can see from like this one here, seems to work fairly well to keep them contained while I get around to splitting. So for this, have the Stihl MS261C. It has a 20-inch bar on it. They are 024. So this is the newest saw that we have. The 024 is one of the first saws that Dad bought whenever he bought the homestead ground. And this one has a 20-inch bar. It's amazing how just that little bit of additional bar can really help getting through. The 024 has an 18-inch bar, so being able to get through whenever I stack up quite a bit and get really helps. I think the carburetor probably needs to be rebuilt on the old saw. It still works fine, but as you load it, it just kind of gets bogged down more. Plus, it's just a smaller saw. This one has a little bit higher RPM, so whenever you start getting through all of this, it kind of keeps the RPMs up, and it just seems happier mowing through some of this stuff. So anyway, I'll switch over and start getting some of this stuff loaded up, kind of show you my method to my madness, and start getting one or two of these filled up. We'll see how long it takes to get one filled up, and kind of how motivated I am. Sun's kind of worked its way around to where I'm getting full sun here, so about time to lose the flannel and start working on getting this cut up. Okay, so I've put you down here on the last bar of the stand, so you may get a little bit of wiggle as I put stuff on. Sorry about that in advance, but it kind of gives you the best vantage point of how I do this. So you have kind of, I guess I'd say 3 different types of kind of cast-offs. You have the stuff that's pretty flat and is going to stack well on the back. You have the big stuff that's kind of the rounded piece. And then you have pieces like this. They aren't really flat, but they kind of quartered, so you know, they kind of stack up better with some of the flat stuff. So basically I put the flat things kind of in the back. They stack fairly well, and then just work my way out and try to get kind of the taller stuff in the back. Doesn't always happen that way kind of as I work through my pile. Let me grab some gloves here just because this stuff is starting to dry, and for whatever reason I don't know if they're ground bees or what they are, but they seem super interested in it, so try to get covered up a little bit here. But essentially each one of these sections is 16 inches, so whenever you cut on the left hand side of it, you always have 16 inches then, and on the far right hand side over here you have this 16 inches, so you actually need to come in just a little bit. I think we went 16 inches out, which then actually makes an 18-inch piece, so you need to come in about 2 inches from there. basically just kind of line up on the end, knowing that you're going to cut there. So just working through the pile here, put some of the flats. Typically, if you get that first one lined up, you can then kind of go off of it. So end up having to do a little bit of situating as you go through so you can kind of get the pieces you want. Since I just threw all this in here, whatever was on the forks, and just kind of dumped it, there's not a whole lot of method to the madness. But try to get as much of the like things kind of together that's going to stack well. And the other thing to remember is length. And some of this stuff kind of gets bigger than I can really handle, but what I found, I can typically drag stuff, set it on, if I can get it to stay, and then kind of get centered up on it, and then just have to kind of rotate it around. So you always want the lighter stuff in the back, just because if it gets picked up by the saw, it's going to come up against the saw and stall it out. So if you have kind of the smaller quarter pieces, they need to go in the back. Otherwise, it doesn't really matter too much. I'm just trying to get some of this cleaned up. Found I can get quite a bit stacked on here. Definitely, like I was mentioning with that 20-inch bar, it seems to be a little bit happier about getting through some of this. Obviously, having the additional bar you can get through. But I tried to, I don't know, get as much on here as possible, just so that I can really maximize kind of what I get out of every one while I'm running the saw. Like on this one, I really need to flip this around because I have more kind of the thicker pieces on that end already. So like that, it sits much better. So just kind of double check. When you have stuff stacked on here, it's kind of hard to move it around, so it is kind of what it is. So like on this, I was able to get 1 or 2 pieces back here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, decent sized ones. So basically just start down at this end and cut next to it. I'll keep it rolling as I go through these. You can kind of see how it does, but I'll eventually just switch over to the time lapse because it's basically just this repetitive thing, and then stacking it in totes however I can the best. So that's really all there is to it. And then just pick up all your pieces. You can't really do more than once without picking up the pieces. There's just not that much room. And there's no right or wrong way. Try to put maybe bark facing up on some of these bigger pieces at the bottom, and then kind of flip them over so they sit in between. Kind of fit more in that way, but obviously there's no right or wrong way to do it. Just trying to get as much stacked in there as possible, because obviously volume wise I'm trying to fill one of those up with split, so it's about the same. Okay, so that's one basket full. And I made a little bit of a dent in the pile. I'll pull some footage before, maybe do before or after. Just kind of give a sense of what was there, but have a basket worth. Since I'm going to split this one, I actually have one more around the corner that already is stacked. But I may go ahead and keep this one up here, because if I get that one done, I'll just have one. I figure I'll have 2 to 3 working baskets up here that I can kind of work on as I have time, but put most of them out back so they're not kind of in the way up here, and we already have enough going on up here that we don't need additional. So anyway, made an okay dent. Figure I'll do some splitting up next. Just kind of break it up a little bit. I'll try to get about half a basket or so. It's about an hour and a half of splitting the two to get half a basket. I figure it's between 3 and 4 hours to split a basket worth. So I'll do that for a bit, and I'll switch back over. I'll fill up that other tote that I bought up here, and see if I can't get more of this whittled down. Alright, so got another tote done here. Have that. I'll get this moved around and get this out of here, and then probably do one more push on this to get another tote filled up, and try to get more of this back. Didn't get as much of this done as I was hoping, but by doing this, got more of this kind of rotated through and a couple of totes done. So I'll record that on my phone so that I can keep on top of having some dried firewood. And so next up I'll be working on this again. Same process as last time, just getting it cut up so that I can stack it in a tote and get it moved out back, or leave it up here since I was able to get through a couple totes today. Alright, do a wrap-up video here at the end of the day. So I still need to go through and pick up the little bit of wood that's left there in the stand and get it stacked over here. But that should finish filling up that one and have these two, so I will have emptied 2 and filled 2 today. So pretty productive. Looking at the stack here, obviously made a pretty decent dent. Still have some stuff up here. These are bigger pieces that there's just no I'm going to be able to pick them up. So I'm either going to put them up there with a backhoe, or I'll just cut them here on the ground, probably more likely. But made a pretty good dent here in the wood. Finally starting to get back. You can see there's a pretty good void under there because I have those 2 rounds that I need to get fished out. But coming around over to this side, you can see that there's still a fair amount there, some bigger pieces and everything that I still need to get out. So I'll keep whittling away at it and get it knocked out. We'll be doing some more poplar, so we'll be adding to it before too long. But if I get a little bit of this cleaned up, I'll start getting this area cleaned up as well. And like I mentioned before, I really need to pick up that whole stand, move it out, and work on just taking the grater box and grading all of that into that hole. Got a couple inches worth of sawdust there from the chainsaw, so I'll end up doing cleanup here before too long. But got this whittled down and made some good progress on it, so it's looking good. So thank you for watching the Schmitter's 100 Acre Woods today. Nothing super interesting, but working on getting all of the leftovers from the sawmill cleaned up, and got some splitting done today and working on getting ahead on that. It's one of those never-ending processes that isn't necessarily the fun part of sawmilling. Running the sawmill and doing that's always cool to see a tree turn into 2x4s or whatever we're making. It's always cool to see that and then get those bundled up. And right now we've been delivering them, or if we just stack them up here, it's cool seeing what that can become. This part's not quite as entertaining, but is a necessary piece not to have all this waste, and doing something productive with it. So anyway, thank you for watching. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time. I want to go ahead and do a special shout out to whoever left me the pumpkin. So as you'll see in this video, I have kind of placed it around and just to kind of put it different spots. So this is the first side, just has my logo on it, and then on the back side says, put this in your YouTube videos, we'll be watching. So someone just left it for me, pretty cool. Go ahead and get some pictures and video of it now. I'll be moving it around and put it in some different videos as long as it lasts and everything. So again, thank you for whoever left this. Pretty cool. Cool to know that there's local people out watching the videos and everything. So I'll be placing it around. So be looking for it in different videos, and you'll probably see it in the background and some different areas. So be on the lookout.